But you use the single needle, Michonne.
I do.
You love the single needle. You're welcome.
I'm good at it.
You are.
You are really good at it.
You're really good at it. But you use LI. You use Aqua all the time.
I use Aqua, I use Loaded, I use it all.
Yeah, and you're strategic on when you use Aqua and when you use Loaded.
Yes.
Because we're strategic face tattooers in here. We don't just use one needle for, it's not like one needle fits all, or one type of pigment fits all, or, one stretch fits all. You have to be versatile.
Is customized.
Everything's customized for that skin that's lying before you in that moment. Yeah. And then you might have to switch things up for the next client and the next client and the next client. So you're very strategic, like I am. We're manic thinkers, and we're very strategic on, our tools and our pigments and whatnot. But you use that single needle, you use Aqua, and you get fucking beautiful pixels. Because there's a misconception, and we saw some of these comments on Facebook, that, well, if you use Aqua or iron oxides, you can't get pixels. Aqua doesn't implant. Iron oxides don't implant. And I'm like, but there's thousands of artists all over the world using single needle that are getting beautiful pixels with iron oxides and LI. They're getting awesome healed results. Their work is lasting 2 years. And you're one of them. We see your work all the time. And we see your healed results all the time. And you are rare. That you are a rare breed. You are a single needle user that posts and share your healed results. Okay, let's clarify that. Your 1 session healed results, and they are awesome.
Yeah.
And most people using single needle do not show
Goals.
Yep. Goals, but they don't show their healed results. They just show the fresh. So let's get your take on that, because I know that comment bothered you.
It really bothers me. I was quite angry, and I had to turn off social media. I was just really upset by that, because I use LI. I've been using LI for as long as I've been with you, for 8 years, and I've never had a problem. Why fix something that's not broken?
Yeah.
And I do get these beautiful pixels, and it's because of my technique. It's not because the pigment or this or that. No, you never blame your pigment, your tools. You're either blaming yourself or the client.
Yeah, yourself or the client. Exactly.
That's what it is.
Well, we even get some people that, I'm just going to say, like the Zion. The Zion is an awesome machine. Your favorite machine, Stephanie. We sell a lot of them. I did my last eyeliner class. I did one of the best eyeliners I've done in years with the Zion, and the Zion is a great machine. But you'll get people that will call us and say, I want my money back. The Zion doesn't implant pigment, or they'll say that about the Rook or the Valhalla. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course it implants color. Or they'll blame the needle. The Da Vinci doesn't implant color. Well,
what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
What exactly? The Da Vinci's are one of the best needles out there. It's like one of my favorites. Of course they implant color. Of course they do. Of course these machines implant color. Of course LI heals in the skin. Of course LI does not heal pink. Other iron oxide brands out there don't heal pink. It's these techniques that are being taught to this generation of artists, and it makes me sad for the artists. Sometimes, yes, I do get upset with individual people on how they respond. And I don't like trash talkers. I take offense when someone's struggling with a pigment line, a machine. I don't care what pigment line it is, whether it's LI, Permablend, Tina Davies, Everlasting. I don't care. I know all those people that own those brands. I know a lot of distributors that I'm very good friend with that make their living off distributing those brands. I don't care what brand it is. Maybe I get a little extra sensitive when it's LI, but I take offense when someone is not getting the results they want with a particular brand and then they start trash talking the brand all over the Facebook boards. That is offensive to a lot of people and just everyday artists. You guys see it, you get offended. I get a ton of DMs on, you know, every time someone trash talks. It's not very becoming. And there's really no need of it at all. If a line is, and I'm not saying LI is the line for everybody. LI is not a perfect line. A perfect pigment line does not exist.
Say it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. I've always, you know, been really honest and transparent about that. And if LI doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. And it certainly doesn't work for some people. It's not some people's preferred choice, and that is okay. You have to find your secret sauce, you know, the pigment line that works for you, the machine that works for you. But if a pigment brand or a machine isn't working for you, don't trash talk that particular brand or that particular machine.
Yeah, stop blaming everything else and hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, well, it's not very classy, it's not very graceful, and it's very unkind. And I don't think people consider on how many hundreds or thousands of people see it and feel the same way. They might not be replying and responding, but they see it. And most people...
I'm not responding because I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah. So if a particular brand isn't working for you, move on. Move on. Because for thousands and thousands upon thousands of others all over the world, that particular brand of pigments or that particular machine, right, is like awesome, giving those artists awesome results. So, move on and find something that does work for you, right?
Yeah, and start posting healed photos.
Yeah. So why do you think, Michonne, you get awesome healed in color with Li Aqua on your first session with a single needle, and why you get pixels? Like what are you doing?
One, I know my sweet spot.
So
Two,
you know your depth.
I know my depth. Two,
and how did you come to your depth? Just because we have a lot of newbies that listen to us. Like, what advice?
The only thing I can tell you, I can't really teach you depth. It's just it's a certain vibration in the skin where you just know you're there. You just know it. That's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Is there any other way to describe that?
No, there's no way to describe it. But when we do classes, I will tattoo them, like on the inside of their arm or their leg, you know, with a dry needle, no pigment. And then I'll have them tattoo the spot right next to it. And it needs to feel how it felt when I tattooed. And that gives them a little bit of a reference point on how it should feel on themselves and then how hard they have to push their machine. That's how
when I'm teaching the girls, like I'll get on their client first and I'll tattoo them a little bit. And I even have them kind of like touch my hand to feel the vibration, or even like my stretch hand to feel the vibration. And then I'll ask the client, when they tattoo you, I want them to feel just like me.
Yeah.
If they feel just like me, then they're good.
Exactly.
And if they don't, tell me.
Yeah. We make our models work.
Yeah, and usually, but usually, like, you know, we've been doing this for so long, I can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it.
I can hear when they're either going too deep or too shallow.
Right. So your depth is on point.
Yes.
And your saturation.
Yeah, I saturate a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And it's not necessarily 3 layers, 4 layers. You have to train your eye so you can see the pigment in the skin and you can see it building and saturating, and you know when you've got it saturated enough. And so it needs to be about 15 to 20% darker. It needs to look like you've implanted 15 or 20% too much pigment.
Yeah.
So when the client stands up, they're like, ooh, God, those are dark. Those are going to lighten.
Well, I even ask my clients, I'm like, how dark do you want it? Do you want it really soft and subtle, or do you want it like, bam, I just got eyebrows?
Yeah.
And, you know, depending on what they say, that's how much saturation I'll put in.
Right.
So if they want very soft, very subtle, that's fine. I'll do less saturation.
Exactly.
But they're going to come back and want more.
But, you know, like some of these people complaining about the pink, you know, I see a couple of their pictures on Facebook, and I'll pull them up and zoom up, and you can see it's all sheer.
Yeah.
There's no pigment in there. They think there's enough pigment in there, and all that pigment, that little bit of pigment they got in the skin, they think it's all going to stay and show up in a week, and it's not. It's all going to scab out.
See,
You've got a layer and
it's so sheer like 50 or more % of it falls out, if not completely.
Exactly.
And with ours, whether it be powder brow or my single needle ombre brow, I only want 20 to 30% to fall out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. And you were getting pink, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, I was for probably my first year. I was not the whole brow, but
Your bulbs.
My bulbs especially, I was getting a lot of pink.
Well, because you were kind of doing circles, right? You were kind of trying to do a transition brow, like more color in the tail, rounding the arch into the bulb. And then when you got into the bulb, did you kind of switch from circles to whip shading, or did you?
Now I do a little bit of whip shading when I'm doing that, but at first I was just doing circles. But I think I would freak out. Like, I was so afraid I wasn't going to have that transition, or that it wasn't going to heal lighter in the bulb. So I think I would just panic and speed up my hand movements way too much and then not saturate it enough. And it would come back and I'd be like, where'd the front of the brow go?
Yeah, they were pink or they were they were pink or they were orange, and I'm sure Michonne gave you shit.
Oh yeah, you did too.
Yeah, well,
rightfully so.
Yeah, but that's that's
how I learn.
But did I tell you it was going to happen when they left?
But that's part of being
probably.
It's part of being a team, being part of a team. But you've done really good. You've come a long way.
I feel like I'm just now like things are starting to click with brows. Still got a way to go on my eyeliner, but with brows I feel like I'm seeing things a lot more.
So things are starting to finally click, and you're 3 years in.
Yep.
And you're surrounded, with me and Michonne. You got artists in here that, we're good at what we do.
Right.
We're on your butt and critiquing you and helping you, and still your struggle was real. You went through your own struggles that Michonne and I kind of couldn't really fix for you.
Right.
We can give you advice. We can only bring you so far.
Right. You can't force me to do things that I'm not understanding. And that's something that I had to figure out on my own, I think.
Right.
And now that I have, it's a whole new game.
Yeah, it's a whole new game. And then Amy, with you, did you're about a year and a half in. Did you struggle with pink or orange brows at first, or did you tend to be heavy-handed? And
one time I was a little heavy-handed, and Hilda result came back a little bit ashy.
Yeah.
And when I noticed that, I think I kind of backed off, and then maybe I was a little bit shallow, because then I got a couple Hilda results that were pink, and I could tell that I was going light. Like, I knew, because I hear it over and over again with Michonne. So I was like, oh man, I got a little light on her. So then we had to come in and do a touch up, and then they came back better. But it is a struggle. You got to figure it out. But I think also, like Michonne said, taking responsibility is huge. Like, there's no way that could happen here, though. Like, I have to take accountability, because I have and all of you are like,
don't
oh no,
worry, I'll
like
make
this.
sure you know.
But I'm so grateful for that. Like, there's no way I would try to do this.
Well, we don't let you guys get away with anything.
No.
Well, and you don't want to get away with anything.
I want to get
you wanna
better.
you want to be a badass.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I get that.
I like when they feel confident. They're like, that's going to be good. And I'm like, that's going to fall out.
And can I also add something about Michonne's single needle? These women will come in for their touch-up, and I'll be doing something, and then all of a sudden she's in my room. I'm like, oh, I thought you had a touch-up. And she's like, oh, well, she didn't need a touch-up. I'm like, well, look at you. Like, look at you go. And I see them, like, even Ari, I think she's only had, like, one session, and hers were, like, bomb right away. I'm like, oh my God, they look so good.
Yeah. I have a very good colleague, and who's really good. Really, really, really good. And she came in and did one of the girls here. Single needle brow, powder brow. And this girl's good. And all fell out. Came back about 3 months later, did it again, all fell out. Michonne, you had to step in. You did it.
They look amazing.
They look amazing.
Right.
And yes, and this is something I've given this, I've poked at this girl a little bit because she's my friend, and about getting on bigger needles when the skin demands it.
Absolutely.
Getting out of that box, that rut of single needle, because I want to do as little touch-up as possible. When you have no touch-up or just a little touch-up, to me, it's like, it's like, what do I want to call it? It's almost like a reward. It's like a pat on the back. Like,
You're like, yes.
You did good. Like, yes, you nailed it. You nailed your saturation. Your depth was super even throughout the entire brow. Your stretch must have been on point. It's like all the stars aligned, and you're really proud of yourself, you know? And when I have a lot of touch-up to do, well, of course, it's always the skin. But sometimes,
I feel you.
Yeah, but sometimes we do have touch-up work to do, right? And it's usually going to be on the oily, challenging skin types. But, you know, skin types that are normal and take pigment well, we have very little to no touch-up work, which leaves room in your book for more appointments and, you know, more income. I mean, I can't imagine having your book inundated with touch-up work, you know, and you have to do touch-ups 2 or 3 times. And I know that's happening to a lot of techs because...
Well, and a lot of techs don't charge for the touch-ups, so
they
they're
don't
working
charge
for
for
free.
the touch-ups. No, for free.
I'm not working for free.